The 2024 Baltimore Ravens football season is literally days away, Ravens flock. You've made it through another offseason. You've made it through another minicamp, another training camp, another preseason, and it's time for the real season, the regular season, the 18-week grind, which hopefully will continue into January and into February at Super Bowl 58, and that is in New Orleans. So, once again, in New Orleans for the Baltimore Ravens potentially to return and win their first Super Bowl since the 2012 season. God's favorite host here, back here on the Flex Zone podcast, only place giving you your sports how you want it when you need it, and giving you that Ravens coverage all throughout the season and beyond. We're back at it again, another season, and I'm going to break it all down for you right now. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit stick that like button, leave us a thumbs up, helps us out tremendously, and make sure you sack that subscribe button. Welcome to the Flex Zone family. We do Ravens content and we do Ravens post-game shows as well. And as always, sound off in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on the upcoming season. Give me a record prediction. Give me your team MVP. Give me your breakout, standout players and players you're keeping an eye on for this season, coaches, players, and any other storylines as well. Let's get to it. We've made it through another offseason. The Ravens come into the season yet again after the disappointing loss to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. We know how that game ended. We know how the offseason went. A lot of losses, but some additions. And yes, they lost a lot of depth, especially at various positions on defense. Yes, they did bring in Derrick Henry. Yes, we do have, really, for the most part, a healthy roster, especially when it comes to core key pieces hitting into another season, which is always good. Had some movement on the coaching staff, lost some guys on the defensive side of the ball, but Zach Orr steps into the spotlight. What will be his philosophy? What will he be like as a defensive coordinator? I think we have to give Zach Orr and his defense a little bit of grace. I know we're high on the defense. I know we love a lot of the pieces that they have, and I'll get into the depth chart and look at some of the players and guys I really, really think are going to have good seasons and really could be names to look out for. But we have to give grace. We have to remember Mike McDonald was here for 2 years. His first season wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. And I think Zach Orr is going to need a little bit of grace. I do think in the first few weeks of the season, we're going to have to see how he handles calling plays for the first time, how he makes adjustments in game, how he handles certain mismatches or attacks certain offenses. So that will be something to keep an eye on. Obviously, this team, this franchise, the hopes of the city of Baltimore, Ravens fans all over the world, relies on the shoulders of the great eight. Lamar Jackson, the two-time and reigning league MVP. But for Lamar, and honestly for this team, I tell people, much like I've said with the Baltimore Orioles, wake me up when the playoffs start. You can win 14 games. You could win the AFC North. You could have the number one seed with home field throughout. You could have another MVP season. You could throw for over 4,000 yards, which I think Lamar has the chance to do this season. You could run for 800 yards. You could have Derrick Henry going for 1,500 yards and rumbling, bumbling. You could have a defense that led the league in sacks and was making plays and getting turnovers. But it don't mean a damn thing if they cannot get it done in the postseason. We know Lamar Jackson is 2-4. We gotta rectify that. Lamar said he wants to bring us a Super Bowl. I believe he has the capabilities to do so. I think Todd Monken and Lamar Jackson working hand in hand. Todd Monken utilizing Derrick Henry, utilizing the two tight ends with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, and finding a way to keep this receiving core consistent. I think we know what Zay is going to be. He's a number one. But I think what is Bateman? Is Bateman going to be able to be a part of this team long term? And what I mean by that is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be available? Is he going to be on the field? He did play every game last year, but I think, or 16 games last year rather, I think it's a key to get him going early. And I'll do my game preview later this week for Kansas City. I think one of the keys is to get Bateman the ball early and often. I think when you look at certain teams, he's going to have a matchup against the second or third best corner. Let's let him take advantage of that. Let's get him in space. Let's get him the football. But this season comes down to two things for me. The offensive line, which I don't have a lot of faith in, especially the right side, and rightfully so after losing Morgan Moses and Kevin Zeitler. And defensively, who's rushing the passer? Who's getting sacks? I don't see this defense leading the league in sacks again. How do they get pressure? How does Zach Orr? How does Chuck Smith? How does a lot of the guys on the defensive side of the ball get pressure on opposing offenses? I think they're pretty set special teams wise. I think this is an important year for John Harbaugh. Like I said, Todd Monken. And what does Zach Orr bring to the table in year one? But I did want to look at the depth chart, go over everything. Final rosters have been revealed. Game day is literally a few days away as of the recording of this video. We kind of know what we're getting into, and we know who's who and what's what for the Baltimore Ravens. But let's get to it. Let's look at the depth chart. Let's go down some of the players and things we're looking for the season, because I think this is a season. Like I said, I think the Ravens are pretty strong candidates as long as they stay healthy to be playoff contenders. Now, does that mean they win the AFC North? Yeah, they could. But could that mean it could be a second or third wild card? Yeah, they could. I could see both scenarios. But like I said, I don't care what happens in the regular season. If you make it to the dance, you gotta get it done. Quarterback, we know the grade 8, Lamar Jackson, the Ferrari, the reigning league MVP, probably the best overall player in football with the ball in his hands. Josh Johnson is the backup. There was questions about who's going to be his backup quarterback. We know they brought in Tyler Huntley back to the Ravens, so it looks like he will probably be their QB3. We know Derrick Henry's going to be there. Well, let's go back to Lamar real quick. I think as long as Lamar is healthy, we'll be fine. Now, if there's a situation where Lamar has to miss a small portion of games, Josh Johnson or Tyler Huntley can maybe win us a game or two. But I could see Lamar Jackson reaching the 4,000-yard plateau and rushing for 700 yards, a little less, because I think that's why you bring in a guy like Derrick Henry. But looking at that, Lamar's going to be, if he's healthy and playing like he's capable of playing, and I think he could even elevate his game this season, especially as a passer with the deep ball, he's going to be in the MVP conversation yet again. And let's not forget about that and take him for granted. Because Lamar wins. One thing he does is wins at a 70% clip. And in September, he plays some of his best football. Remember all those Player of the Month awards? Remember all those highlight reel plays? Lamar does that. And him and Harbaugh are really, really good in September. We know Derrick Henry's coming in. How much does he have left in the tank? I don't know the answer to that question. Nobody knows. But this season, could I expect 1,200 yards from Derrick Henry? 10 to 15 touchdowns? I could. Because Derrick Henry, unlike Lamar, he's actually not a fast starter. He gets better as the season goes along. So we know what he can do. He's a guy, once you lather him up, you give him touches, you give him carries, he gets downhill, he can be a problem. Now, will the offensive line be able to create running lanes and maul people to allow him to do that? Time will tell. But I think to the right side, it's going to be a little tough, but we'll see. I'm expecting over 1,000 yards. I think that would be the first 1,000-yard season for a Raven since Mark Ingram. Zay Flowers, I'm expecting a 1,000-yard season from Zay. 6, 7 touchdowns, big yak yardage. He's wide receiver one. And I think he can be our Tyreek Hill type. He can be our Jamar Chase, our Justin Jefferson, our whoever you want to throw in there as a number one quality receiver around the NFL. You look at the division, he can be our guy. Cleveland, they have Amari Cooper. Zay Flowers, I think, is ready to ascend into maybe that top 20 receiver category, in my opinion. Bateman, I just talked about him. I think if they can get him involved, keep him engaged, keep his confidence up, and he's healthy, he can bring something to the table. And I really like Bateman. I think he has a lot of potential. And I think if given the opportunity, I really, really hope this is a breakout year for him. Because we've seen flashes of it. But we got to get him and Lamar on the same page. And I think if they can get on the same page enough, especially having that opportunity to be against the second or third best corner, I think Bateman can show some things. Aguilar, he's who he is. He seems to have good rapport with Lamar. He has drops, but he has the ability to make some big plays, which we saw last year. Underrated blocker. And I think he will be able to have some plays here and there. He'll flash, you'll see him on the field, and he'll make plays where you want to throw things at your TV and use obscene gestures and words towards him because he'll probably drop a crucial pass here and there. But that's kind of who he is. Andrews, he's an all pro, one of the 3 or 4 best guys at his position. Him and Isaiah Likely are the best duo possibly in football at the tight end position. How do they use them together when neither one really blocks? I think getting the ball out quickly, you letting these guys operate in space, Andrews and Likely in the red zone. We saw the plays that Likely made when Andrews was out. That's going to be another key for Todd Monken, getting these guys involved and keeping them involved because we know Mark Andrews and Lamar have that rapport. If Lamar's looking for one guy on every play, he's looking for Andrews. So if he can utilize him and even utilize Likely, I think it could be an opportunity to really give defensive coordinators nightmares. We look at the offensive line, as I talked about, it is a question mark. Ronnie Stanley, he's healthy. He's paid. Will this be the season where he really, really tells his story the right way again and we remember how good of a player he could be? He doesn't have to be a Pro Bowler. He doesn't have to be an All Pro. But could he be one of the best 15 guys at his position at left tackle? If he's able to be that and be healthy, he could be stable enough for us to get the job done. Andrew Voorhees, he's a rookie. We really don't know what we're going to get from him. He played in the preseason, but week 1, we're going to really see how good this offensive line is going against the Chiefs. Chris Jones, Karlaftis. They have some guys that can really get after the quarterback. But Voorhees, I think, is going to be a guy that gets better as the season progresses. He gets more healthier, he gets more comfortable, and he continues to find his niche in the NFL. And I think Linderbaum, he'll be good. We know he's an all-pro. I mean, I think Linderbaum's probably a Pro Bowler this year. So I think from Linderbaum, Voorhees, and Stanley, I'm okay with. I think we can get the job done enough. But when it comes to right guard and right tackle, as you see on the depth chart, we got Daniel Fa'alele going into year 3 with Ben Cleveland backing him up. Fa'alele has not taken the step we expected. He does not use his size very well at the offensive line position. Could he be a turnstile at times? Yes. But I think if he can just somehow, some way, especially in the run game, just shield guys, punch, and really extend his arms, we can have something. But in pass protection, they're going to have to keep a Patrick Ricard in, as you see. They're going to have to keep an extra tight end, a Mark Andrews or an Isaiah Likely, or use a Justice Hill with Derrick Henry to block because he's going to need all the help he can get. Now, Patrick McCarry is listed as the right tackle right now. I think he will start the first game. I think Roger Rosengarten is a guy who looks to probably take the job maybe mid-season, but I think we will see that rotation, much like we've seen last year with McCarry and Ronnie Stanley. Rosengarten is athletic, but he has a lot of work to do as well. He has to be able to use that athleticism to mirror it with the technique to be able to anchor and be able to move and pull well at the right tackle position. Thankfully, like I said, this is on the right side, Lamar, strong side. So if he does need to get out of there and run, which I think Lamar may have to do a lot more of than he wants to, especially early on, I think there's a chance that this line can just somehow do enough because that's going to be the key too. Lamar, we've seen this before, and I'm been notorious of watching the game and other people saying the same thing. Lamar loves to hold the ball. Lamar sometimes loves to make the big play, loves to make the highlight reel play, loves to make the Superman-esque moment happen. But sometimes, as I say, if Lamar can just make the layups, make the easy plays, take the reads to the check down, use screen passes, if he can make plays and audibles at the line, get out of bounds if he's going to run, not take big hits, and not force and keep his eye locked on a Mark Andrews or on a Zay Flowers. Spread the ball around like you did when Mark Andrews wasn't there. That could help out as well. Defensively, 3-4 defense. Zach Orr's first year calling plays. I mean, we've had people on our show and people that have seen the team a lot more than me up close and personal. They've even said this defense is very, very strong in a lot of areas. The defensive line and the defensive backfield, the defensive secondary. You look at a guy like Matabike, 13 sacks last year, led the team, got paid, worked his ass off, got in incredible shape. I'm expecting another 9 or 10 sacks from Matabike. And I think that will suffice because I think along with him, you got a Broderick Washington. Yeah, he was a little underwhelming last year, but there's something there in the rotation. You got a Michael Pierce who had a hell of a season last year. He's really good against the run. Travis Jones, I think, is one of the candidates to be a breakout player. He did work out with Matabike this offseason. And we know Matabike worked out with Aaron Donald all those years. I could see Travis Jones maybe getting 5 sacks. That would be nice for him. Really help take some of the load off of Matabike because we know he's going to get double teamed. So I'm not expecting 13 from Matabike, but a good 9 or 10, and then maybe get 5 from Travis Jones. And a guy that's creating a lot of buzz in the preseason, in training camp, with the shorts and underwear on. And he's a great athlete. He looks great. He says all the right things. He works his ass off. Adafe Owe, I know he gets a lot of slack, and he's gotten it from me because of the lack of sack production. We heard Eric DeCosta talk about, well, sacks aren't everything, sacks aren't this, sacks aren't that. But when you sit down to pay a pass rusher, the first thing you're going to go is look at is his sacks numbers. Now, Owe, he's been hovering around 5 sacks every year. We had Nitro, the good brother from the Wonderkin show on. He thinks he could get 12 to 15 this year if he's healthy. I'm more in the range of if Owe can give us 7 to 10, and his running mate, Ajabo, can maybe give us another 7 to 10, we could have something because it's going to be pass rush by committee. Now, I think Ajabo is still working his way back. I was big on Ajabo coming into the draft. Obviously, the injury didn't help. But I think if Ajabo can just start to work his way back, may not be week 1, Ravens flock, may not be week 5, may not even be week 10, but maybe hitting into that November, December stretch run where he starts to figure things out because we've seen flashes from Ajabo. That is going to be the key. And I think for both of them, it's going to be, can they set the edge against the run? What do we get from Tavius Robinson on the other side? I don't know. He's good against the run, so we may see him more in run situations. Don't know what he is as a pass rusher. Kyle Van Noy, he can't stop the run. Am I expecting 9, 10 sacks from Van Noy? No. I'll take 5. I'll take 6 if he can get that for us. And I think he'll be more of a specialty guy on passing situations. I want to go to Adisa Isaac, another Penn State guy. He seems to be kind of like another Owe, but he seems to get more production. And I think if he can stay healthy, I'm not really expecting much because it seems like that hamstring is bothering him. And like I said, it may bother him the first half of the season, but maybe week 9, maybe week 10, we could see Isaac start to really peek his head out and start to make plays for us in situations as a pass rusher. We know Roquan Smith is none better at the middle linebacker position. Baby Ray Lewis, he's going to have 120, 130 tackles, be the leader of the defense, and show why he is what he is. And he's going to be not only the on-field, but off-the-field leader. And he's going to be the guy that brings that energy, that brings that passion, and ain't going back down from a fight in these crucial physical games. And the key next to him is Trent Simpson. We know we lost Patrick Queen. Now, Patrick Queen had over 100 tackles. Am I expecting that from Trent Simpson? No. Did he look really good in the offseason? Yes. Did he look really good in the preseason? Yes. Do we here at the Flex Zone think he's a breakout candidate this year? Yes. Could he get 80 to 100 tackles? Seems like he has a good knack to find the football with trying to get interceptions. I think Trent Simpson's going to have a good year. I think having Roquan Smith next to him, having that year to really know what's going on, he seems like his football IQ is taking a level up. He's more familiar with everything. He's not reacting. He's attacking. He's not being proactive or reactive. He's just attacking to what's going on. See ball, get ball. Keeping it simple. And I think him, obviously Malik Harrison is going to help with the run and Chris Board as well. But Trent Simpson and Roquan, I think if Trent Simpson can continue to show what he can be, he's a very good athletic guy, got speed. I want to see how he holds up in coverage, but it seems like he has what you need at the middle linebacker position, the size, the speed, the athleticism, and just the work ethic as well. And like I said, playing next to Roquan, you will look good. You'll have your opportunities, trust me, because Roquan will take on a lot of guys and he'll leave Trent Simpson an opportunities to, if he can make those tackles, he'll do just fine. Let's get to this corner. Let's get to the corners and safeties. Marlon Humphrey's back. He's healthy. I love to see it. I think he's still got a lot left in the tank. He is one of the leaders on this team as well. They can move him inside, move him outside. So let's look for Marlon to have another good year. Maybe get back to forcing those fumbles. Getting back to, like I said, being that guy who really can just solidify this defensive secondary. Kyle Hamilton, he's about to get broke off. He's probably going to get paid in the next year or two. Highest paid safety in the league. He's going to have 100 tackles close to it. He's going to have 4 or 5 interceptions. He just has a knack for the football. He makes plays. He makes miraculous style things happen when he's on the field. He can rush the passer. He can come up in the box and tackle. He can play center field. He can even cover. So look for Kyle Hamilton to continue his ascent as one of the 3 or 4 best safeties in the league and one of those Swiss Army knife type guys. Marcus Williams is finally healthy, Ravens fans. Marcus Williams is finally healthy. Alert, alert, alert. Yes, Marcus Williams is finally healthy, and he will be, I think, potentially another breakout guy. Give it up for Marcus Williams. Because I think people forget he's a Pro Bowl guy. He's an all pro caliber guy. He's just been banged up. But when he's played with the Ravens, he gets interceptions. He makes tackles. Hell, last year playing with one arm, he did his damn thing. Just think if we get him healthy, and he looks like he's going to be healthy. Him and Kyle Hamilton back there. Is there a better safety duo in the league? I'll wait. He's going to get his interceptions. He's going to do his thing. I can see him in Pro Bowl contention and really remind the folks why he is who he is and why he got the big contract he did from Eric DeCosta. We got who else back there? We got Eddie Jackson. Love to pick up from Chicago. I think he's going to be able to come in on packages and help out. Sanasi Kane, Bo Braid, Ardarius Washington, Jalen Armour Davis is healthy. TJ Tampa's getting healthy. He's going to be out there. Nate Wiggins, first round pick. Where does he kind of play? I think he's a guy that maybe moves around. And then you got Brandon Stevens, another guy who's probably going to get paid soon. He's a lockdown. He's the guy that pretty much kind of covers the entire side of the field. No, does he get a lot of interceptions? No. Does he have great ball skills? No. But he's athletic. He's good in press, and he's good in man-to-man coverage, former running back. And I think he really has the ability to contain the side. He's really a good cover corner, and I think he only gets better this year. Like I mentioned, you got Jalen Armour Davis, you got Nate Wiggins, you got TJ Tampa, you got Ardarius Washington. You got guys you can mix and match, as I mentioned, with Marlon Humphrey as well. So, like I said, I think your 3, honestly, are going to be Humphrey, Stevens, and between Nate Wiggins and Jalen Armour Davis. And I think as the season goes on, you can see Tampa more as well. But they like Ardarius Washington, and I do too, but he's a smaller guy, so you can kind of see why they expose that a little bit sometimes. But the secondary is deep, and we know injuries happen, especially with the secondary of the Baltimore Ravens every year with the Marlon Humphreys and other players, the Jalen Armour Davises. But having that depth and having that crop of guys as Zach Orr can go to mix and match, move guys around. He can play man, he can play zone, he can play combo coverage. They'll be able to hold up. Like I said, they can just get some type of pass rush. And I think that starts with the defensive line of Matty BK, Travis Jones, and those guys, Michael Pierce, can push that pocket. They can have something. Because I really think if it comes down to it, Stevens and if Humphrey is back to what I think he can be, you still got Jalen Armour Davis, you got Wiggins, you got speed. It's going to be tough to throw on the Ravens. I think they're going to actually be better this year against the pass potentially. Maybe not as good against the run or getting sacks, but it's going to be hard to throw on these guys. It's going to be hard. I don't see a lot of big plays happening. I say if you're going to beat this defense through the air, you're going to have to take what you can get, dink and dunk. You're going to have to win man-to-man coverage. And we can't forget about Arthur Millette. He'll be back as well. But special teams, one of the best units in the league. Justin Tucker, one of the greatest kickers of all time. I think another big season from him. Yeah, he's getting a little bit older. Yeah, from 50 yards plus. It's not as automatic as it used to be, but from 30 to 40 yards, he's Mr. Reliable. He's Mr. Automatic. American Express can't leave home without him because he's a guaranteed 3 points, and Hope Harbaugh uses him as well. Jordan Stout going into year 3, I think he'll be fine. We got Deontay Hardy with the new kickoff rules returning punts and kicks. It would be nice if we can get a spark. I mean, we had Devin Duvernay for all these years. It'll be interesting to see how Hardy does with the new rules and how the Ravens special teams coaches attack that with Tucker. And Hardy is known for his speed. So let's see what happens. Long snapper Nick Moore is healthy this season. He's back. So good to see him back as well. So the Ravens defense, special teams seem to have a lot of guys. Offensively, we know about Lamar. Let's quickly get to the schedule, as I do think this team is a playoff team, and I think they have a really, really good shot to at least get back to the conference championship game, if I'm being honest. We know week 1 in Kansas City. We know week 2 against Vegas. I'm going to count that as a win. We got week 3 at Dallas. We got Buffalo week 4. That's another win. We got the Commanders week 6. I think that's a win. You got Tampa week 7. That's a win. I think you can beat Cleveland. I think you could beat Denver. I think you could beat Cincy. I think you can beat that stretch between the Steelers, Chargers, and Eagles is going to be hard. But you win one of those, that's 8 wins right there. You got the Giants, that's 9. You beat the Steelers, that's 10. You got at Houston on Christmas. We know about that in Cleveland. I can see 10, 11 wins at least for this team. I think, like I said, they are one of the strong considerations for winning this division, but also just being a playoff team. I think the AFC North gets at least 2 teams in. Who are those 2 teams? Time will tell. I like to lean towards the Ravens and Bengals kinda as the 2 standards of the division just because of the quarterbacks and the weapons they have, but if you tell me Pittsburgh is gonna win 10 games, I wouldn't be shocked. I do think Cleveland is a 500 team. I don't really expect too much from them, especially with some of their injuries. I don't really think they're gonna be a factor to win the division, but Pittsburgh are those cockroaches. They don't die no matter what you try to do with them, and they'll be in the mix, I'm sure, with whoever the quarterback is. But week one against Kansas City is going to tell a lot. But if they win, it's not the Super Bowl. It won't undo the goofiness that happened last season. But if they lose, it's only one game, and it's so early in the season. 2, 3 months from now, we're not even going to think about week one. So Kansas City isn't the whole team that they're going to be. The Ravens aren't the whole team they're going to be. Like I said, I think teams like the Raiders, the Bills, yes, I know the Bills, the Commanders, playing the Buccaneers, playing the Broncos. Some of those games you gotta win. You gotta get at least one from the Steelers, and you gotta be able to go to New York, beat the Giants, and you gotta be able to hold serve at home. So, like I said, I could see at least 10 wins. I'm more in the 10, 11 range right now, and I think this team will be a playoff team. Do they win a division? I could see it at 10, 11 wins. Could they lose a division and be a wild card, third wild card at 10 and 7? I could see that too. But I think there's a good chance that this team wins double digit games. I think there's a good chance that this team definitely has a chance to really just hopefully right the wrongs that they did. I mean, the AFC is not going to be easy. The AFC is only getting tougher. The AFC has a lot of young gunslingers. Joe Burrow's going to be back healthy. You know about Mr. Stroud in Houston. You know about Aaron Rodgers back with the Jets. Justin Herbert out there in LA. We know about Patrick Mahomes, of course. With his Bo Nix out there in Denver. Josh Allen is still there. So it's going to be an interesting ride. I can't wait to watch it alongside you guys. We'll be live after each Ravens game with the Baltimore Ravens post game show, the official Baltimore Ravens post game show, the only place giving you your sports and Ravens coverage, how you want it when you need it. We're about to put the kids to bed and get out of here. It's God's favorite host. Yes, I've been rocking with you guys for almost 30 minutes, breaking down the Ravens 2024 season, looking at the depth chart, looking at the schedule. Let me know. Sound off in the comment section. Anything else you want to mention? Anything else you want me to take an eye on or look at? As I mentioned, the offensive line. What is that going to look like? What is the pass rush going to look like? What does Zach Core look like as defensive coordinator? Who's a breakout player on defense? Is it Trenton Simpson? Is it Travis Jones? Is it Tavius Robinson? Marcus Williams even? What do we get from Kyle Hamilton? Roquan Smith? Offensively, Bateman. He's the key in my opinion. I think we know what we're going to get from Bo Derek, King Henry, Zay Flowers, Andrews, and hopefully getting likely involved as well. Like I said, as long as the team stays healthy, they should be in playoff contention. Hopefully, Harbaugh doesn't goof it away some of these games and gets on his time management and some of the things that he does that I know grinds the gears of a lot of Ravens fans. I'm a Harbaugh guy. I think he's a top 5 coach in the league, but does he have some deficiencies? Yes. And they need to start beating damn Steelers. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. But God's favorite host signing off. I see a double-digit win season. I could see another deep playoff run. Does it end in New Orleans? Time will tell. We've had the Kevin Strikers. We had the Nitros on. Guys think this is destiny. This is going to happen. And I hope so because the Ravens need it. The time is now. The window is open. You got a quarterback. You got a chance. And he's not going to get any cheaper. Neither are some of the players on these rosters like the Kyle Hamiltons of the world, Zay Flowers, and others. But I'm signing off. I'll see you guys real soon. We will be live on Tuesday, not Monday, for our official NFL preview, Week 1 picks, Super Bowl predictions, playoffs, division. We'll finish those previews and all the other fun stuff in between, recapping college football. And as always, we will be here Thursday night after the Ravens and Chiefs for the official Baltimore Ravens post-game show, first of the season, and then following each game after moving forward as well. If you're new here, like I mentioned, sack that subscribe button, hit that like button, go ahead and bulldoze that bell. Let me know what you want to hear. Down below, any Ravens content, videos, and breakout things or news that I didn't touch on. What do you think about the depth chart? What do you think about the schedule? And how will you be watching Thursday? Hit the bell. Make sure you guys stay tuned with us here on the Flex Zone Podcast. Only place giving you sports how you want it, when you need it. we gone, y'all. Hopefully, the Ravens can get it done this season. Ravens flop. We'll see what happens. But like I said, let's not get too wrapped up in what happens in the regular season. I think this is a playoff team. The key will be what they do in January and hopefully February. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.